Biologists tell us that one of the defining characteristics of life is motion. If you move, you're alive. In the hierarchy of needs, physiological, safety, social, and personal needs, locomotion is a very basic need. Historically, though, few people survive the injuries that rob them of their mobility. Devices resembling the modern wheelchair were developed in the 16th century for those who could afford the luxury. Technological improvements, though, were slow in coming. World Wars I and II and the epidemics of poliomyelitis in the U.S. after World War II created large numbers of injured and permanently disabled people, many of whom required wheelchairs, breathing assistance, or other support. By the end of the 20th century, universal accessibility had become a major social and government mandate. The Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990 changed the legal environment for people with disabilities in the United States. The act sought to eliminate discrimination against individuals with disabilities. The pioneering firm of Everest and Jennings dominated the mass market for wheelchairs up to the early 1970s, beginning with the introduction of a lightweight, more portable chair in the 1920s. But as the market continued to grow and diversify, and as innovation and attention to customer needs stagnated, the door opened for competitors. Invacare can trace its heritage to a tricycle company founded in 1885 by Winslow Fay.
Invacare was a small company that had been for sale for 3 or 4 years, called an orphan company. No one seemed to want to buy it. It was a subsidiary of the company I worked for in Solon called Technicare Corporation. And I had $10,000. The company was for sale for $8 million, so all I needed was $7,990,000, and I had my first company. The company was about 19 million in sales, had about 300 associates with the company. In the 30 years, we've grown from 19 million to 1.8 billion. Today, we have about 6,300 associates. And the company is the world's largest maker of home medical products in the world. Invacare's vision or mission really is to design, manufacture, and distribute the world's most innovative medical products used in the home.
Our vision and our mission are really reflected more than anything else in the tagline, "Yes, you can." We are in the business of enhancing and improving people's quality of lives. And the "Yes, you can" is a reflection of that.
Invacare has evolved from a small company with Me Too products into a star in the industry. This has been achieved through a strategy of product innovation, efficiency, vertical manufacturing integration, and impeccable dealer and customer service. Global expansion has been very important to the company's strategy for growth. There are now branches and operations in dozens of countries on 4 continents.
In the past, in most of our European presence right now, and even in the Australasia locations, we have been a direct marketing entrance where we actually did acquisitions, bought companies, and took over the manufacturing distribution of product into the markets. Well, globalization was a concept that we took on about 2 years ago when we decided to look at globalizing our entire organization, moving from a multinational business to a global entity working as one. And globalization takes in the concept that you can be a global firm operating on a global basis, but in order to be successful, you need to take a look at the local requirements of each business. So globalization is actually globalizing your organization with the interests of the local geographical areas to make sure you're successful with the business in that particular geographical space. We entered the Chinese market about 3 years ago, and we began to look at what's the option, how do we distribute that product in those particular areas. Right now we're taking a more direct approach at looking at getting with dealers.
Invacare products are known for high quality and innovation. The current mix includes a wide range of products from traditional wheelchairs to powered wheelchairs, scooters, sports chairs, respiratory products, including oxygen concentrators and nebulizers, as well as other products in the home medical equipment and durable medical equipment industries.
Oxygen is a wonderful example of how home care improves people's lives. Originally, one was really dependent on very large cylinders of oxygen in a home care setting. That requires trucks driving to people's homes. Then about 10 years ago, J.B. Ritchie, the head of development at Invacare, came up with a device whereby you can make your own oxygen at home. It's called a home fill oxygen device. That is a wonderful invention that comes from Invacare.
The home fill oxygen system was invented by Invacare, but the company is best known for its wheelchair products, which also exemplify innovation, quality, and durability.
With regard to durability, there is an interesting story. A couple of years ago, a young man by the name of Ben Carpenter in Michigan, he was crossing the street with his Invacare power chair, and 18-wheeler did not see him. Ben Carpenter's wheelchair's handles got stuck in the grill of that 18-wheeler. Ben had the ride of his life. Ben was unhurt. Secondly, the power wheelchair was in absolute perfect driving condition, and the only thing that had to be changed were the tires. They had worn off a little bit during that journey.
Wheelchairs are custom made to the specifications of end users. Dealers are trained to assess needs and capabilities of the user and to define the attributes of the final chairs. Careful measurements allow the components to be sized for the comfort and health of the customer.
In power wheelchairs, the feature that is the most important is really the electronics. They are the electronics. And why the electronics? Because the electronics, they drive all the features in that power wheelchair. The way it drives, first and foremost, the way you can control it. It's not just the driving, but it's also the seating, the positioning, the reclining, and so on. So the electronics, the advanced electronics that Invacare have through its Mark 6, they are the ones that drive, in many ways, the power wheelchair need to optimize that.
Among the markets where Invacare is the leader, one very important sector is sport chairs. The company has a division with a unique positioning compared to the rest of the organization. While global efforts have brought acquired companies and product lines together under one brand umbrella, the sporting chairs enjoy a special distinction.
On sport chairs, Invacare is the leader with far over half the market with a brand called Top End by Invacare.
Sales to consumers are through accredited dealers known as healthcare providers. Accreditation is required for handling the complicated measurements and other decisions involved in specifying a complex product like a custom wheelchair. To achieve accreditation, U.S. dealers must meet the standards set by Medicare. Thus, Invacare follows a strategy of selective distribution in the U.S. consumer market. Invacare sells directly to nursing homes through a sales force in their long-term care division and bids on contracts to the Veterans Administration.
The Department of Veteran Affairs is one of Invacare's most important customers. We've been dealing with the VA for 30 years, as long as Invacare has been in business. There are 24 million living veterans in this country. About 8 million of them are enrolled in VA healthcare services. Out of that 8 million, about 5 million actually use VA services, and Invacare's had a long-standing partnership with the VA through our sponsorship of multiple national rehabilitative events.
As in many other countries, the current healthcare system in the U.S. allows for purchases and leases of durable medical equipment for home use. These costs are usually shared by some combination of insurance, government assistance, and the consumer's own resources.
The pricing of a chair affects the behavior. As the government, through Medicare, continues to bring reimbursement down on medical equipment products, medical devices such as ours, the ability for the consumer to have the product under Medicare or under insurance is not quite what it was 10 years ago. Now what we have what we call an upgrade bill where the consumer can participate with their own funds in the acquisition of a product. So rather than get a $500 so-called standard product that might weigh 30 pounds, a wheelchair, but he or she can contribute their own money and get that 20-pound lightweight wheelchair. But it does have an effect on the availability and access to the range of product that we have.
Invacare's pricing strategy in global markets definitely reflects local conditions and competitive environments. European-style universal healthcare may limit the ability to underwrite upper-end purchases. Margins will be tight in Brazil as well, but the price to consumers may be much higher due to the high tariff structure. Importation of goods to Brazil is very expensive, supporting higher prices even on domestically produced merchandise. A significant portion of Invacare's promotional effort is directed at dealers. Dealers are provided with training about equipment and how to match product features and benefits to customer needs. Advertising is used in local areas by dealers to direct users, their families, and caregivers to their place of business.
So we have a lot of products, a lot of different offers by Invacare so that we're able to fit that person with a proper piece of equipment. If it's a more specialized need, if it's a higher level injury, if there's some specialized seating, we'd get one of our ATSs, our assistive technology specialists, involved, and they would do specialized evaluations that could take up to 2 hours where we're building a chair specific for their needs.
Promotion to the end user is through targeted media. Invacare has not tried to gain a mass market reputation. Advertising in special interest magazines, direct marketing, and other very specific advertising tools are used. New media and public relations are key elements of the integrated marketing communication strategy.
The goal of Invacare is name brand recognition. What we are trying to do is educate the population that Invacare has a solid quality product and with the certain features and benefits that our customers and our providers like. They can trust our quality, and we're trying to get out there and educate the providers. There's lots of competition, sure, but we want them to feel comfortable with the name brand Invacare.
One of the most important things that we have to sell is not exactly the product, because there are competitive products, but it's what's inside and behind the product. Service is a big component of our business, and we need manufacturers like Invacare that are strong and will stand behind their providers so that we can take care of the customers the way they need to be taken care of.
When I was introduced to this Invacare chair, it's lightweight, it's easy to break down, quick release on the wheels. It's just been totally different for me, more independency. And I would swear about it because the chair is awesome and it's very easy to use.
Marketing mix decisions must be formulated with an eye to market needs. This is especially true when dealing with global markets. Differences in customer needs, wants, and behaviors, as well as differences in business environments, require different approaches to marketing in global markets. The challenge is to maintain those elements of the marketing mix that contribute to the image and reputation of the brand, while adjusting those elements of the mix that are necessary to effectively serve the best interest of the end users. People with disabilities, survivors with a desire to live life to its fullest.